What if I told you that you could see more of the world with your family for the exact same cost when flying United Airlines Awards by learning to do this one simple thing? The United Airlines Excursionist Perk gives you one free flight to a destination by following a simple set of rules. In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you, and I'm going to warn you about all the common pitfalls, and at the end of this video, I'm going to go over some common examples going from the easiest to the hardest on how to maximize on these benefits. What is the Excursionist Perk? United's MileagePlus program allows you to add a free award flight as part of a larger multi-city itinerary. For beginners, think of it as a stopover. You don't have to pay for the additional points, but you still have to cover the taxes and fees. For the advanced, it can be a powerful tool to come with some interesting combinations to save you money/points. And I'm going to show you a couple of different interesting examples later in this video. Pay attention, because here are all the rules in order for this perk to kick in. Number 1, the start and end rule. Your trip must start and end in the same region. And when you hear region, it's actually the region that's defined by United and not what you learned in 5th grade. So for example, if you depart from North America as your starting region, you could start in San Francisco and you could end the trip in the East Coast, say New York, and that would still count as the same region. Number 2, the free segments region rules. The free one-way segment must start and end within a single region, and the region must be different from the original start region. So if you started in North America, the free segment that you have must be in a different region, such as Asia, Europe, Oceania, etc. Number 3, the second flight rule. In order for this perk to trigger, you must book this as a multi-city itinerary with 3 one-way segments. The free segment will be your second within the system, assuming it meets the rules above, and the system will automatically price it to 0. Number 4, the cabin rule. The free flight must be in the same cabin class or lower than the flight preceding it immediately. So for example, your first preceding flight was economy. Your second flight must be in economy and cannot be upgraded to business unless you pay for it. However, if you do wish to fly business for your second flight, all you have to do is to make sure that your first segment is in business class, and then you're eligible for your second segment to be in business. It does not matter for your final segment what class it is. All that matters is your first preceding flight. Number 5, only one flight per booking. No matter how many one-way segments you add to your multi-city itinerary, you can only have one free segment per itinerary. So therefore, even if you have additional ones, only that second segment will be free and everything else will be additional points. And stay to the end, because I'm going to teach you at the end how to link multiple trips together to maximize your value. And finally, not a rule, but more of something to point out, that free segment, you still have to pay taxes and fees. Now that you know all the rules, here are some common pitfalls to watch out for when you're booking using the Excursionist Perk. Number 1, the most common one is for US-based travelers, that you will not be able to use the Excursionist Perk within North America because you're most likely starting from that region. Number 2, watch out for those regions. For example, Japan, Mexico, Hawaii are all separate regions on their own. Why isn't Hawaii part of the United States or North America region, or Japan part of Asia? That's simple, because United wants to make sure they don't lose money. When planning out the Excursionist Perk, you'll want to watch out for those regions and make sure which country is falling into which region in order to maximize on that perk. Number 3, all 3 segments must be on one itinerary. The Excursionist Perk is automatically applied for a 3 one-way segment multi-city itinerary. If you happen to book 3 separate one-way itineraries and you try to call in to activate the perk, you will not be able to get your points back. It has to be all 3 one-ways on one single itinerary. Number 4, watch out for the cabin fare types. If you're booking Savor Award for your first segment, your second segment will have to be Savor Award. There's also reports on the forum/websites where United's website has some problems trying to zero out some different fares, even though you think it matches the cabin type. So be careful for this. and look out for those Save Rewards. Number 5, less a common mistake, but more of a call out. Inter-island Hawaiian region fares are no longer available. As of December 1st, 2024, because of the Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines merger, United Airlines are no longer able to book inter-island award fares. So even though there are flights within the region, you can no longer leverage that for the Excursionist Perk. All right, you now know the rules, and now you know some common mistakes. Let's get into some examples. Example number 1, flying your family to Asia. Let's take a family of 4 and they want to fly to Asia. Let's start off at Newark and flying to Singapore, then a Singapore to Bangkok, and then Bangkok to back to Newark. Thanks to the Excursionist Perk, that Singapore to Bangkok flight now has saved you $350 per person. Example number 2, let's fly to Europe. Let's say your family wants to visit London and Rome in one trip, and you're flying out of Chicago. You can go from Chicago to London, then London to Rome, and then Rome and back. So for that London to Rome trip, you're actually saving $100 per person using the Excursionist Perk. I want to pause right here because you might have this one important question. Wait a minute, Eric. I thought we're supposed to save lots of money with this Excursionist Perk. If I fly these budget airlines, wouldn't it just save my family a couple $100s? You're correct. So that's why I bring up this next point. If you're a value maximizer and you want to squeeze out all the value out of this perk versus just trying to get to 2 additional destinations, then you need to take into consideration the expensive regions. Expensive regions are regions that we know that have intra-region flights that are very expensive, both points or cash-wise. For instance, within Africa, Oceania, and certain parts of Asia, if you are going to use your free Excursionist Perk flight within those regions, you're going to be maximizing your value. Don't let United's regions fool you. You can sometimes get some really long flights within an intra-region flight, such as Fiji to Polynesia, Kazakhstan to Maldives, and even Johannesburg to Seychelles. And that's where the value's at. All right, next, we're going to cover 2 additional examples, but they're going to be more complex / advanced. Example number 3, the segments do not need to be connecting. So in example number 1 and 2, we had specifically designed trips where the first and second segments were attached together, so you fly directly as a stopover. Did you know that the Excursionist Perk does not require you to have the segments connecting? So you could actually get a short domestic hop from SFO to LAX, which is 6,800 points. And the returning flight could be also 6,800 points. For 13,600 points, you would be able to choose a long international Excursionist Perk segment, such as Johannesburg to Seychelles, which would easily be $350 for your family. This would help you maximize on your value. One very important note, no matter what, you have to fly the first segment in order for the itinerary to kick in so that you can fly the second segment. But did you know that you don't actually have to fly that last segment? So for whatever strange reason that you might have, maybe your schedule, timing, someone got sick, blah, 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 you don't actually have to take that last segment. This is called skip lagging / hidden city ticketing. Whoa, calm down. Before you go ditching your flights, here's some important disclaimers and caveats that I have to tell you. Skip lagging can lead to this. All right, full disclaimer and disclosure. Airlines, including United, generally prohibit this practice, and doing so can lead to penalties such as cancellation of remaining flights, loss of ticket value, financial penalties, and even suspension of frequent flyer counts. While some people have reported success with this strategy, it is important to understand the consequences before even attempting this. Like they say, with great power comes great responsibility, and you will have to choose for your own family. My family personally does not use skip lagging. Example number 4, nested itineraries to maximize value. One of my family's major bucket lists is to go on an African safari together. I'm still waiting for my kids to be a little bit older, but based on what Google has said, here are some top locations that you could travel to for African safaris. Let's say I choose South Africa's Kruger National Park and Masai Mara's Wildlife Preserve. This would cost me Johannesburg to MQP, which is around 20,000 points. And from MQP to Nairobi International, that would be another 30,000 points. MBO is the largest international airport for Masai Mara Wildlife Preserve, and you'll still need to take additional small hops in order to get into it. 50,000 times 4 is 200,000 points that you would save. So in order to get these two segments, I would need 2 excursionist perks combined together. For a family that travels a little bit for travel sports, this would easily be covered using domestic short hops. My first itinerary would be SFO to LAX for 6,800 points, say fall of 2025. And then I can have the excursionist perk used for Johannesburg to NQP. Then for the closing out segment, I would use LAX to SFO for some time further in 2026. Then for itinerary number 2, I would use LAX to SFO for my 2025. Now I would use excursionist perk number 2 to fly from MQP to MBO, and that would cover the second excursionist segment that I need. Finally, I would do SFO to LAX for 2026. By using these 2 domestic trips that I'm already planning for volleyball tournaments with my family, I would be able to save 200,000 points for my family flying to these 2 African safaris that are on my bucket list. And if you're interested on how the United Airlines Excursionist Perk compares with all the other airlines stopover program, check out this next video.